Ted Gambardella, and I have never seen the country more divided than it is today. O is the great divider. Since this regime came into office, we have divided the country into groups that hate each other just to get votes, create unrest, crisis, and depression. He pits the following groups against each other and always supports the first group at the expense and peril of the others. Look at this list and see if you don't agree with me. Blacks, who can do nothing wrong, versus whites, who can do nothing right. Atheists, there is no God. Brian the dog on Family Guy told me so. Versus Christians, the groups that have done more great things for humanity and eternity than all other groups in history. Illegals, I mean people who sneak in, get free healthcare, food, and soon to get voting rights, versus U.S. citizens. You know, the people who screwed the Indians to get what they have now. Environmentalists, global warming or climate change radicals who want you to walk while they drive Cadillacs, versus intelligent people who know that the weather actually changes every year. It gets cold, it gets hot, and it's much better when things are hotter than when it's cold. Glad, you know, the gays, lesbians, and stuff, the people who know what sex is actually supposed to be like and deserve to be married and divorced like the rest of us, versus everyone else. You know, people who believe one man, one woman forever. Wait, you probably don't know that, or don't know many of those people, but they used to be the majority in the country. Welfare recipients, you know, people who want to stay home and relax, versus workers, idiots who are exploited by the man. The Arab Spring, radical Muslims who kill innocent people, versus elected governments. You know, countries that used to be stable, not great, but stable. Failing public schools, 85% failure rates, 75% dropouts, and that's just fine, versus school choice and charter schools. You know, schools that actually teach and require homework. Democrats, radicals and liars, versus Republicans, liars and weaklings. Women's right to choose, and of course that means always choosing death, versus adoption, which has a 2-year waiting list. Free health care for 5 million who didn't have it, versus the 185 million who are going to get screwed, pay more, and get less. Lying to get votes, versus telling the truth and losing. The liberal press, you know, people employed by leftists who hate America, versus actual news reporting. You probably don't know what that is anymore. The poor, who are only poor because they are forced to go to school, get a good education and work, versus the rich, who stole everything to get that way and should have it all taken away. Failed government programs, like the $5 trillion we spent on the war on poverty, versus social responsibility and free enterprise. We became the greatest country in the world because of capitalism, not socialism. And the list goes on, but here's the point. If you read these verses, you'll get very emotional because O has divided the country just for votes. Just for votes. And he will get his votes in November, but from the people being hated. And they will vote the bums out and put good people in. This is Ted Gambardella. I'll see you next time.